She leans on the doorframe and says, "For a handyman, you're dangerously easy to fall for." I nearly dropped the drill. I had no idea what that one line was about to cost me.
This is Michael Tells, and this is Recorded for Me. This voice note made me smile before it got its hooks in me. A guy, a handyman, one bold line from a girl at a door, and everything that came after. Let's just listen to it together.
Hey, Michael. Ma'am, okay, I'm actually doing this. My buddy dared me, honestly. I told him this whole story over beers, and he goes, "You gotta send that to that channel you're always listening to." So, here I am. Hope I don't talk your ear off, 'cause, fair warning, I talk. A lot. Emily says I could narrate paint drying and make it a whole thing. So let me just start at the beginning, 'cause the beginning is my favorite part. I'm a handyman. Have been since I was like 19. My name's Jake, I'm 28, and I fix stuff. That's the whole job description. Leaky faucets, busted fences, that one cabinet in every house that never closes right. You call, I show up, I fix it, I leave. Simple. That was my whole life, and honestly I liked it that way. Show up, do good work, get paid, go home. No drama. Yeah, no drama. Remember I said that. So about 2 years ago, I get a call. New client. Young woman needs a bunch of little stuff done around a place she just moved into. A rental. Little house on the east side of town. Faucet dripping, a door that won't latch, a shelf coming off the wall. Handyman starter pack, basically. I book it for a Tuesday morning. And I show up and, okay, I gotta describe this right. She opens the door and it's this girl, 23, Emily, and she's got paint on her hands because she'd been trying to touch up a wall herself. And her hair's up all messy, and she just goes, "Oh, thank God, a professional," like I'm the cavalry. And she's just got this energy, this bright, funny, doesn't take anything too seriously energy. And I'm standing there with my toolbox like a big dumb tree. Now, I want to be clear, because I've got a rule. I do not ever hit on clients. Ever. It's unprofessional, it's creepy, and it's a good way to lose a business. So whatever I was feeling that morning, I locked it in a box and I went to work on the faucet. But here's the thing about Emily I'd learned real quick. She does not lock things in a box. That is not a skill she has. So I'm under the sink, right? And she's sort of hanging around, chatting, asking me stuff. Not annoying, just curious. Like she actually wanted to know how a P-trap works. And we're talking and she's making me laugh, and I'm making her laugh, and like 2 hours go by, and I've done maybe 40 minutes of actual work. And I'm packing up my drill, and I'm at the door, and I'm about to do my normal, "All right, call me if anything else comes up." And she just leans on the doorframe and goes, "You know, for a handyman, you're dangerously easy to fall for." And Michael, I swear to you, I nearly dropped the drill. Just about took my own foot off. 28 years old, grown man, and I completely short-circuited. I think I said something incredibly smooth like, the shelf. I'll come back for the shelf. And I left. I basically fled. I fled the scene. Sat in my truck in her driveway for a full minute just going, did that happen? Did that actually just happen? So yeah, she made the first move. She made the second, third, and fourth move too, honestly, because I was too chicken to. That's just who she is. Emily walks straight at life. She doesn't wait around for the good stuff to come find her. Never has. I did go back for the shelf, by the way. Real slow. Took my time on that shelf. Okay, so I want to slow down and tell you about her. The real her. Because if I just tell you the flirty part, it sounds like a rom-com, and it wasn't. It got real. And it got hard. And you need to understand who she is to get why I did what I did later. Emily's tough. Tougher than me, honestly. And I'm the one who carries lumber for a living. She grew up rough. Not gonna get into all her business, that's hers to tell. But she came up scrappy, took care of herself young. And she'd just gotten out of a bad relationship right before I met her. Real bad. That's the part that matters, and I'll get to it, because it almost cost us everything. But those first few months, man, those were the best months of my life, easy. We'd get burgers at this place off the highway. She'd come ride along on jobs sometimes, hand me tools, get it all wrong, hand me a hammer when I asked for pliers, on purpose, just to mess with me. We laughed all the time. I'd never had that. I'd dated, sure, but I'd never had somebody who felt like my best friend and my girl at the same time. She was just my person. Real fast, she was my person. I met her friends, they were great. She met my mom loved her instantly, obviously. Everything was easy, everything was good. And then Tyler showed up. Tyler's the ex.
And I gotta tell this part careful because it's the hard part and I don't want to make it sound like a movie because when it's happening to you, it does not feel like a movie. It feels like your stomach's on the floor. So Emily had been honest with me about him from the start. She told me he had a temper, that he was controlling, the kind of guy who checks your phone, who needs to know where you are every second, who makes everything your fault. She'd finally gotten away from him, moved into that little rental to start over. That crooked cabinet I came to fix, that was her new start, you know? Her fresh page. And for a while, Tyler was just gone. Or we thought. First it was texts. She'd blocked him, but he'd make new numbers. I miss you. We need to talk. You're making a mistake. Then it got meaner when she didn't answer. Then it stopped being sad and started being scary. Then he started showing up. That's when it got real for me. I'm over at her place one evening, we're just making dinner, nothing, and there's this pounding on the door. And I look out and it's this guy, and you can just tell, you know that energy, wound tight, looking for a reason. And he's yelling her name through the door. And I watched Emily, this girl who walks straight at everything. I watched her go small, just fold up. And that did something to me, Michael, seeing her scared. Somebody made my Emily scared in her own house. I didn't open the door that first time. She asked me not to. She said, please, he wants you to. He wants a reason. Don't give him one. And she was right. So we called the cops, and he was gone before they got there. 'Cause that's how those guys operate. They vanish right before there's a consequence. But it kept happening. Over a couple months, he'd show up at her work, follow her car, leave stuff on her porch, always staying just barely on the side of, well, technically he didn't do anything. And every time, it chipped a little more away from her. She started looking over her shoulder, stopped sleeping right. This bright, straight-at-life girl, getting quieter and smaller, and I hated it. I hated him, and I hated that I couldn't just fix it. And fixing things is the one thing I'm actually good at. And I'll be honest with you, 'cause you get honesty on this thing or you get nothing. There was a night I wanted to go find him. Just go find him and end it my way. I sat in my truck outside his place. I did. I'm not proud of it. And I thought about my dad, who had a temper like that. And I thought, no. If I do this his way, I become him. And Emily spent her whole life around guys who solve things with their fists. She doesn't need another one. She needs the opposite. So I drove home. That was maybe the most important thing I ever didn't do. Here's how it actually ended, and it's not as dramatic as you'd think, and thank God for that. We did it the boring, right way. We documented everything. Every text, every time he showed up, every drive-by. Emily kept a log, dates and times. 'Cause I told her, we're gonna make this so airtight he can't wiggle out. We got her a restraining order, a real one, filed proper, with all that evidence behind it. And we told everybody, her work, her neighbors, my whole crew. No secrets. Guys like Tyler need secrecy and shame to operate, and we just took that away, turned all the lights on. And there was one night, this is the put him in his place part, and I want to be straight about what that actually means. He showed up one last time, drunk, loud. And this time I did open the door, because Emily was behind me, and there was a line, and he'd crossed it. And he came at me. And Michael, I'm a big guy. I move heavy stuff for a living. He swung, I put him on the ground, and I held him there. That's it. I didn't beat him, I didn't get my shots in, I just held him down, calm as I could manage, and I said, you're done, it's over. And the cops are already coming, 'cause she called them the second you pulled up. And they came. And this time there was a restraining order on file, and a witness, and a log of everything. And it stuck. He caught real consequences. I'll leave the legal details out, but it was enough that he finally understood the math had changed.
He wasn't dealing with a scared girl alone anymore. He was dealing with a paper trail and a whole lot of people watching. And that was it. He faded out. The way they do, once it actually costs them something. I know people want the big movie ending where the bad guy gets destroyed. Real life's quieter than that. The win wasn't me flattening him. The win was Emily getting her sleep back. Getting her straight at life walk back.
That's the whole prize. That was everything. So, where are we now? We're good, man. We're really good. We moved in together about a year ago. Bigger place. I fixed it up top to bottom myself, obviously. She's back to her old self. Better, even. She hands me the wrong tool on purpose still. We got a dog, mutt named Biscuit. Dumbest, sweetest animal alive. And, okay, here's the thing I actually called to say, I guess. We're getting married. In the fall. I asked her on the back porch of that little house we fixed up, and I did the whole thing, ring and everything. And she let me get about half a sentence out before she said yes and tackled me. Straight at life, always. And you know what she said after? She said, "Told you, dangerously easy to fall for." Same line, 2 years later, still gets me. So I guess if there's a reason I'm telling you all this, Michael, it's this.
When Tyler was in the picture, everybody had advice. Half of them said leave, it's too much drama, walk away, save yourself the trouble. And I get why. From the outside, it looked like a mess. Some girl with a scary ex. Run, right? But nobody on the outside could see what I could see, which was her. This incredible person going through the worst thing and needing exactly one person to not walk away. Just one. And I figured, I fix things. I don't leave because it's hard. That's the whole job. You show up and you stay and you do the work. So if you're out there and you love somebody who's carrying something heavy, an ex, a past, whatever it is, and everybody's telling you it's too complicated, sometimes complicated just means somebody needs you to stay. That's all it means. Anyway, that's us. That's the whole story.
Girl hired a handyman, handyman fell in, we went through hell, and now there's a wedding in the fall and a dog named Biscuit asleep on my foot right now as I say this. I told you I'd talk your ear off. Thanks for listening, Michael. Really, this was good to say out loud. Alright, Biscuit needs out. Take care, man.
Man. So that was Jake. I gotta be honest, I was smiling through the first half of that. The drill, the doorway, that line, and then it turned, and my stomach turned with it. I think a lot of us know that feeling. Watching somebody you care about get scared in their own home, and everybody told him to walk away. Too complicated, too much drama. But that's the thing that got me, and I can't shake it. Jake said nobody on the outside could see what he saw. They saw a mess. He saw her. We throw that word around, don't we? It's complicated, like it's the exit sign. And Jake just flipped it. Sometimes complicated doesn't mean run. Sometimes it means somebody needs one person to stay, just one. And I keep coming back to that night in the truck when he wanted to end it his way and he drove home instead. Because anybody can throw a punch. It takes a whole lot more to be the calm one. To let her get her sleep back instead of giving her one more reason to be afraid. That's the part that stays with me. Not the bad guy losing. Emily planning a wedding instead of looking over her shoulder. A dog named Biscuit asleep on a safe floor. That's the whole win right there. So, whoever you're loving through something hard tonight, maybe it's not too much. Maybe it's just you being the one who stays. Thanks for sitting with me. This has been Michael Tells. Take care of each other. I'll see you next time.